Well, it's time for some Disney Parks news because earlier this week, the Disney company came out and announced a brand new expansion in the Disney parks, and an expansion that I was not at all expecting, but I'm happy about actually. If you guys are unaware, at Disney's Hollywood Studios, there is a large section of the park called Animation Courtyard that is very dead. It doesn't really serve a great purpose, and it's kind of been useless since, I don't know, a long time ago. When I visited in 2019, it was honestly dying, if not dead already, and it just wasn't a very vibrant or fun place at all. It has like sort of museums there. It has the Star Wars Galaxy launch bay thing, and that all served a purpose for a time. But now that the park has, Galaxy's Edge there, what's the point of that? And what's the point of the other experiences that they've mostly gutted out? Nobody really knows what the point of it all is, but when Muppet Vision 3D was announced to be closed, a lot of fans were really hoping that Disney would actually replace this area with Muppet Vision 3D, when Muppet Vision 3D was announced to be replaced by Monsters Inc. And Disney gave us an answer, but not the answer that I think anybody really wanted, that was really, sticking up for Muppet Vision 3D. Instead of getting Muppet Vision 3D, we're getting Disney Animation Studios. So, reading from this article from mickeyvisit.com, they give us a very brief little analysis of what this land is supposed to entail, and I'll link the article down below. But most people in the parks community are kind of like me, just scratching their heads at like, what is this thing? And it looks cool, it looks nice. They're finally going to utilize the space here, but how big of a purpose is it going to serve? Is it actually going to be a beneficial thing, or is it just going to be another waste of space? I honestly don't think it's going to be another waste of space, but time will tell. The article states that Star Wars Launch Bay in Disney's Hollywood Studios at Walt Disney World is being replaced by a new Disney animation experience, and a show is closing. This is part of a large overhaul to the entire animation courtyard area to transform the space. Now, this is kind of interesting. Now, we've already seen, as I already mentioned, a lot of change at Disney World and especially at Hollywood Studios. I mean, getting rid of the entire Muppet courtyard to put in Monsters Inc. was big enough. Then announcing that Rock and Roll Roller Coaster would be rethemed for the Muppets as like a sort of send-off, or I guess like a trade that they could make with the fans, even though fans are very confused about that entire retheming. And now we have this, and it honestly looks kind of good and fun. Like, it could be good, but I'm still very just confused on it. The article goes on to state that this new thing is going to be called the Magic of Disney Animation, which will replace Star Wars Launch Bay. This is the poster that Disney Parks put out, and as you can very clearly see, this is heavily inspired by the Emmy Award-winning short film Once Upon a Studio. For those of you that do not know, Once Upon a Studio was the short film to celebrate 100 years of the Walt Disney Company, and it's pretty cool that they're drawing inspiration from this, and they're going to redo this entire area as a sort of Disney animation studios, like an homage to what we have in Burbank, California, the real studios. It's going to be brought to Hollywood Studios, which makes a lot of sense, but we don't actually know what this experience is going to entail. This could either be a museum, it could be a show. I kind of think it's going to be a mix of both. An interactive experience would be really cool. It doesn't look like this new mini land will have any rides, but they are renaming this area. The animation courtyard is going to be renamed the Walt Disney Studios. Now, I am personally in favor of this. I don't really like Animation Courtyard. I found it to be very bland and kind of depressing and weird. When I visited, there was one cool thing, which was like a mini Walt Disney museum that was nice, but everything else there wasn't nice. And even that museum was just too small, and it didn't feel like it actually fit the entire area. It seemed like there could be so much more done here. So to have it be named to the Walt Disney Studios, I think is a great idea. Now, we don't exactly know what in the world is going in here. I highly doubt that we're going to get any sort of a ride. I would be very, very shocked if we did. I think that we're going to get a show. I think that we're going to get experiences. I think that the whole land itself is just going to look like the Burbank Studios, which I think is kind of a wise decision, and it could make for a really fun experience. You could have some themed dining here. It could be great. And hopefully, I know that they're remodeling this entire area after an actual studio in Burbank, California, but hopefully, the entire area is not just concrete slab. And when I say concrete slab, I mean like gray concrete. Right here in this, art, it looks a little bit more lively. Like, yes, there's some grays in there, but it looks a little bit more lively. It looks kind of big and grand. I could definitely see a massive show being put in here, but I can't exactly see a ride being put in here. Now, is this the biggest news in the world from the Disney company? No, not exactly, but I wanted to give my thoughts on it because there's another interesting detail that this article does go into. The Sorcerer Hat is back. For those of you that don't know, Disney's Hollywood Studio, or Disney's MGM Studios, used to have a massive Mickey Sorcerer Hat as the park icon, and then that was removed. And now the Sorcerer Hat is coming in a smaller sort of a way, but at least it's coming back, and it's going to be the face of this new Disney Animation Studio attraction area thing. And I think that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty nice. I don't know really what to expect here, but honestly, based off of the trailer, or not trailer, but the poster that they have given us, I do like seeing all these different sorts of Disney characters, some of them being 3D animated characters just converted to a 2D animation style, which I thought was really, really well done. And I think that this could be a really fun place. I think honestly you could maybe have something kind of similar to what Disney's California Adventure has, where you can go and learn how to draw the characters. I think that'd be really great. I don't know if Disney's Hollywood Studios is trying to go back to what it originally intended to be when it was Disney's MGM Studios, which is of course making movies there. And if that's the case, that could be very cool, seeing some animated films being worked on there, or TV shows. That could be very, very cool actually. If they do a sort of mini studio tour around there, I think that'd be a great little ride attraction if they try to do it. For those of you that don't know, Disney's MGM Studios, now Disney's Hollywood Studios, opened up as a direct competitor to Universal Studios Florida, now Universal Studios Orlando, and really tried to replicate the magic of making movies that those parks have so successfully done, since they've actually made a lot of movies at those parks, specifically in Hollywood, but even there in Orlando, they had the tram tour, and they tried to replicate the magic of the tram tour, but it didn't really work, and there weren't actually very many projects at all made at Disney's MGM Studios. So seeing this here, honestly, we could maybe get some cool stuff like that. We could maybe actually see some Disney projects being made here. And if that's the case, then sign me up. This sounds great. It sounds like a fun time. Now, even if this is just a colossal waste of money and time, which I really don't think that it will be, I do think that it's good that we're getting rid of Animation Courtyard. Animation Courtyard, as you can see in some of the footage here, it was just so gray and sad and bland. It didn't feel like a Disney theme park. It felt very corporate. It didn't feel like a magical place I was being transported to. And oddly enough, even though I'm being transported to a real place in Burbank, California, it seems like they're going to dress it up a lot more and make it more magical than it might actually even be in reality where they make these movies. I think that this will be a sort of movie magic attraction, or an homage to the company itself, an homage to Walt. I really don't know, but hey, it seems pretty cool, and I'm on board with the idea. I don't have much other thoughts on it, so let me know what you guys think of this. I just wanted to put a very, very short news update video. I don't always do these for the new projects. I know I've missed a few that are probably big. I can't remember at the moment which ones I did miss, but I try to do these whenever something new happens so you guys can learn about it and hear my commentary. And for something that we don't have a whole lot of details on, I'm excited at what it could be and hopefully what it is going to be. Hopefully we get a fun experience that's interactive. Hopefully we get a great show. Maybe we do get a mini studio tour. All I need it to be is a very, very nice and pleasant looking exterior, and not a gray corporate looking thing like they have going on right now. Instead, a more magical and fun looking place with good lighting, good color texture, all that sort of stuff. Because honestly, that entire part of the park is a total vibe killer. It's kind of like the place in Disney's California Adventure where the new Pandora Land is going to go. That place is an absolute just total mess to me. It looks really dead and just lame, so I'm really happy that Pandora's stepping in. And even though this isn't Pandora, I do think that this could really brighten up that area of the park and maybe even live up to the park's name. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will be back on Sunday.